Hello, what's happening? Matt aka with Frag here, and we're gonna be talking about the skill sets of elite players and what makes up a great player. We have some awesome gameplay here from Open Lobby with Cyanide Epic, Nuketown, Spash 12 Domination. Good times were had by all, or most people anyways. I always have fun in these crazy games. So we're going to be talking about skill sets, and you can break skill sets down into different things. I think the biggest one is movement, and movement is the hard one for most people, and that's the concept of understanding when you need to move and where you need to move to in correlation to where the enemy is spawning and how to do so effectively. And you can do a lot with this. You can speed up that process quite a bit by looking in the theater mode and seeing where the spawns are at. It kind of helps you understand a little bit better. But frankly, the biggest thing you can do for this is just play the game and see how it flows. And breaking movement down a little further. I mean, obviously we all know how to run and shoot. But there's certain moves that some people have in their arsenal that others don't. And I think the biggest one is the perfect 180. And a lot of people don't have the ability to do a perfect 180, and this one gets me more kills than anything, especially when I'm running gunning, because when you whip around a corner and you fly past somebody, the ability to turn around instantly and be aiming on them is a huge benefit. And probably one of the best close-up combat skills you can have, because when you're running that fast, you do blow by people all the time. And then of course you have the 360, and most people think, okay, 360 no scope or 360 headshot. That's not always the point of a 360. A 360 can be used to scan the entire area around you instantly. And I don't pull this one out very often, there's really not that much occasion to, but I do find myself doing a 360 in places where there's 3 or 4 different places the enemy could be coming from. Being able to go in a perfect 360 and continue your movement is a huge advantage to your play. And the third one is the perfect 90 degree, and this is the one that most people use and get good at first, and that's the ability when you're running by and there's a door directly on your right to be able to flash and look at that without breaking your movement or breaking your speed. And the other big thing for people's play, I'm going to talk about this one for a while, is actual game mechanics, and this is broken down into so many different categories. It can be anything from the way you reload to the way you look out windows. And I'm just going to start by talking a little bit about line of sight and how it's the most important thing in any FPS game. Whether you run and gun, or you camp, or you snipe, understanding the line of sight and what you can see from any given point on the map and where you can be seen from is the biggest thing. And that's what a lot of people that just run and gun really miss out on, is they never understand the angles that are being used by all these people that are sniping or camping or shooting from long range, is they don't see the benefit of those angles, and they don't understand when they run to a certain area to get somewhere, there's somebody sitting there waiting, and there's a reason they're sitting there waiting, is because people run that way. And there's all sorts of good spots, not necessarily on a map like this, like on Nuketown. The only spot to really sit is in both the windows. But a lot of the larger maps, and even some of the smaller maps, there's really cut-off places that people like to sit. And there's a good reason for that. I always like finding places where I can stay relatively still. Not necessarily camp, but I can juggle between 1 or 2 or 3 angles that are longer angles than I do have running up and finding the spawn. Although there's a time and place for that as well. It really depends on what gun you're using and what your playstyle is. So if you're looking to improve your play, you can think about adding little things to your game, not always big things. There's lots of different little skills you can learn. We've talked about the 90 degree, the 180. If you just take 15 minutes and learn how to pull a perfect 180, just running around by yourself, it'll be a huge boost to your game. I will guarantee that. If you don't have that one in your arsenal, you should. So getting back to line of sight and movement, and just the entire package of what an elite player brings to the table. It takes a really long time to get there. It doesn't happen overnight, but if you're focusing on the right areas, you can get there a lot quicker. Let's talk a bit about the mini-map, and Any great player will tell you that the minimap is their #1 most used tool. That's what gets you the kills. Regardless of your style of play, understanding the minimap is key to being a good player. You have to be able to effectively read the minimap, and that gives you the cue of where the enemy is spawning. And if you look at your minimap enough, you understand not only where the enemy is spawning, but you don't need a spy plane up to do this. Especially on a smaller map like this, like on Nuketown, you can look where your teammates are, and where your teammates are on the map, there's only a few other places that the other team could be spawning. And the more you look at it this way, the more you understand where people are going to spawn, or if somebody stepped too far into the other side and they're going to flip the spawns on you. And a lot of people that get dogs and stuff on Nuketown, you'll see them do this, they wait for the respawn behind them. And that's what they're waiting for to get their kills, is the respawn behind them. They hang out in the house or downstairs and just wait for the other team to spawn. And a lot of great players do this, and this can be used on any map, is knowing how to get to that right place where the other team is spawning and they're not expecting you to be there. I think another big mechanics one is clearing sequences, and what I mean by this is how you look out windows. And do you fully understand the light of sight of the window? You've gone all the way to the right of it and looked like made the angle as skinny as you can, all the way to the left. You understand everything that's coming out of that window, every single place that you can look where somebody could be, and then not standing in the window, but rotating back and forth. And understanding, okay, there's 5 different places where there could be an enemy here. If I stand to the left here, there's a window. If I stand to the left here, there's a hallway, etc., etc. And how you break down into looking out that window, giving up as little of yourself as you can. And a lot of this comes through practice, but I had to make like a real effort to learn how to do this myself, because I'd always, go to the center of the window and look out, and I'd sit just a second too long in the center of the window, and somebody'd shoot me in the head. And I learned that you're better off sitting on the far sides of windows, hugging the wall and looking at the smallest angle possible. If you want to look at that one window, only look at that window, because that means that the only place you can be seen is from that window, which gives you a fair advantage. And if there is somebody in that other window, they're probably not expecting you to pop out right there, or they're not aimed on sight there already, giving you the advantage. Another big one for great players is the ability to aim down sight at the right point. And this is more of a practice thing than anything, and finding out what sensitivity you like. I like to play on a little bit higher sensitivity myself, because it gives you the ability to spin around faster. But I've had success playing on low sensitivity as well. It just gives me more of a long range style than it does a run and gun. Though I've learned how to manage with both, so I think boosting up my sensitivity really helped out my game in Blackops in specific. Yeah, this game was just so crazy. I loved it. They had just beat us on Summit pretty handedly. Well, 20 points, but that was all Olympia game on Summit. It was also good times. I love doing these open lobbies. Even though I'm retired, I can't wait to get into doing some of these in Modern Warfare 3. So we've covered, clearing sequences, the way you move around the game, understanding the mini-map, and in the realm of movement too, there's little things that we do that we don't think about. And for an example would be, crouching and taking cover while you reload. And a lot of players don't do this, or stopping your reload when somebody's you need to break the reload so you can shoot your last 8 bullets to try to kill somebody. These are all little things that are practice and just kind of work into the flow of your game. And I think taking cover while you reload is a big one for a lot of people that they don't focus on enough, and a really good thing to add to your game to really keep it top notch. And you don't have to do it every time, but understanding how to reload and crouch and then pop back out and aim down sight in one fluid motion is a big boost to your game. And obviously these things take time to learn, but if you focus on learning 1 or 2 things at a time, you can start putting together a pretty mean skill set. I also think it's very important, I didn't used to think this, to play in ways that are uncomfortable to you, and play in the widest variety of ways that you can. And it's going to tank your kill death. But if you're learning how to play FPS games, this is extremely important. Obviously you're going to find a gun that you like and you're going to use it more than others, but it's important to mix up the classes and do other things. If you play long range, then go run and gun. If you run and gun all the time, you should try camping. You should have a class set up for that so you can gain a different perspective on the individual maps, because we all know different maps play different, and a lot of people camp when they start out. I like to play a little more of a running style when a game first comes out so I can learn the map, but a lot of people are uncomfortable, so they end up camping because they don't understand what's going on in the map, and neither do the runners, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're probably just gonna die a lot, which is cool. I think I'll probably start out playing Domination to start with. I really like playing Domination when a game first comes out because, pretty fair advantage. You can all see where the flags are. Obviously you're gonna get worked over some rounds, but it makes for some good times. I'm just getting lost in this game right here. I was having some good memories on this one. I got barely over even, but it sure seemed like a really intense pack battle and had a couple really cool moments in it. Another big thing you can do to up your game is to not just go in the theater mode, but just go run around in the maps. I like to do this when a game first comes out. I'll be doing that in Modern Warfare 3 mostly for video purposes. But go run around and take a look around the maps and see what you can find, see where you can climb, see what you can do. So it was helpful. Frag out.